Good afternoon, Bloomington. It is Friday at 3:02 p.m. You're listening to WIUX LP Bloomington, and this is Growing Pains, the show where we interview cool local artists. I have some of those cool local artists on the air with me today. Treefoil, say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, welcome you all. You guys are super interesting, and I'm so glad to have you on. We're going to be playing somewhat of a older project than is normally played on the air, but it's super good. And I think for this wintertime period, I'm nostalgic for summer, and so this will put us in a good mood. But first, I'd like to get some introductions from you guys. Who are you? Alex, if you want to start us off.
Hey, my name's Alex. I play guitar.
I'm Kayloe. I play bass.
And I am Max, and I play drums.
Awesome. And how did you guys all meet? What's the Treefoil origin story?
Ooh. Do we want to go back to the School of Rock stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I guess
the truth.
I met Alex in biology class our freshman year,
Oh, yeah.
and then he convinced me to try out our School of Rock in Carmel, and then we played together, and then that's where I met Kayloe, and then we did a Beatles show together, and then we just started playing music, and then formed a band.
Yeah. Definitely.
You have any
I'd say
other
that's
details?
Alex and I met when we were in 5th or 6th grade
Yeah.
for School of Rock, and luckily we met Max later on, and it
Yeah.
was a good fit. So.
Yeah, right. What was that School of Rock experience like? Did you feel like your music taste was formed by being in School of Rock, or just another level to your musicianship?
Mine was definitely formed there. I mean, like, I
Absolutely.
met all of my friends who play music there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever they were listening to was what I had to listen to, because they were older and cooler than me. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think being around other young musicians was definitely, it was a good thing. I don't know, I met a bunch of, like Alex said, good friends. We were in a different project called Paul Stretch for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We met some good other musicians who were definitely some mentors to us and definitely formed my music taste, and yeah.
Yeah, I was late to the party. I didn't grow up with School of Rock like they did. I started my, I think, end of freshman year or during sophomore year of high school, and I wasn't there for very long. So yeah, I wish I had that experience though, because it seems like everybody that did grow up with it had a really great time with it. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, interesting, and the fact that you guys are all still here is pretty crazy. So glad to have you all together. I think the best course of action is to just play the first song off of your EP so the listeners can know who you are and what your sound is. This first song is called New Read. Do you have any thoughts about it before we begin to play?
I think it's old.
Old?
Yes, it came out 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So it'll be interesting to see what it smells like now.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since I've actually gone back and listened to this, so I'm curious to see what I think.
Cool. Well, we'll all hear it together now. Enjoy New Read by Treefoil. And we're back. That was New Read by Treefoil. How do you guys feel listening to that so many years later?
It's kind of interesting, you know. This was like, so I'm an audio engineering major, and as someone who has come like a long way in my opinion in terms of mixing, it's interesting to hear what I was doing when I was 16. So, you know, 16-year-old Max was not that bad at mixing. I think it actually kind of holds up a little bit.
Yeah, I thought you were good for a 16-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember what song it was, or maybe it was all of them, but you were kind of like constantly mixing that album or EP. Like, we were in the library, and I remember you would bring your laptop and like
Yeah,
show me the latest mix for one
I
of the
do remember
songs.
that.
And yeah, you were doing this. You were doing it right, I think. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely want to talk more about the process of making this album in the future, but I do want to touch on the song because there are some very fun lines in it.
Yes, there are.
I wrote down a few of my friends had some criminal fun. If you want to elaborate on, you know, what the song is about, either in relation to that line or otherwise.
I think this is a question for Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did write the song, so this song deals entirely in the hypothetical. And
Yeah,
I don't remember
definitely.
exactly how I came up with the idea for this song, but it's basically just has to do with sort of like a sticky situation that some young folks got into at their local movie theater, involving like the use of a laser pointer on the big screen, silly things like that. And, you know,
Hypothetical,
naturally,
of course.
Oh,
they got kind of, they rendezvoused with the police officer in town and eventually were issued a trespassing warrant to the movie theater. So they basically just couldn't ever return there. And so that's what this song is about.
If it had happened.
Yeah.
If it
Right.
happened. Like,
They should
Totally
make that into a
didn't
movie,
happen.
though.
what did you say?
They should make that into a movie.
Well, I made it into a song.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't have anything. I think this is a great point to talk about how, like, when I was in this band, I had no idea what to write about, so I wrote about that, and I think that I learned a lot from writing about really meaningless things like that, you know, like to never write about that again. Not that you can't write meaningless songs, that's totally fine, but I think I was just kind of lost and didn't know what to do, so I figured, hey, I'm just going to put some words to this dumb story, you know. But that is what we had, or my friends had criminal fun means, I believe.
Okay.
If I'm remembering it. 'Cause I wrote
That would be a lot of specifics to remember incorrectly.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I think what strikes me about this EP is about how it's not about broad like themes of like love or growing up, but it's very specific, and that feels almost harder to do, to write about something specific to you. So kudos to that.
Thanks.
Yeah, so some really cool themes throughout
Well,
this.
yeah, specific to a hypothetical person, right?
Yeah, I guess
Right.
it's even more impressive that I made this story up.
Yeah.
Big imagination. Going back to the origin of this group, what was it like when you first started playing together? What were the dynamics, and what were your goals?
It was, I mean, at first it was rough. I feel like we were trying to get used to playing with each other.
Do you guys remember the first performance we did as a band? When we played at the School of Rock Artist Showcase,
Oh,
we played. So Alex had written "Talk to My Shadow," so we played that, and we played one other song. Do you guys remember what it was?
I played Scrubs by TLC. Right?
No Scrubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did, which was, I guess, what I thought was a great choice to play.
I don't know
We all
why.
thought
Why
it was
did
a
we?
good
Why
choice.
did we do that? I mean, it was really funny, but like, I don't remember why we did that.
Probably, I don't know. Yeah, not a lot of logic went into that, but yeah, I mean, I guess that was our first thing. We practiced in Max's mom's basement, his mom's old basement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've since progressed to another
New.
basement when we're back home for breaks. So
Where do you guys practice these days if you're at school?
In our basement.
yeah,
All right.
we get around. All right, lots of basements for us.
Awesome. And when you guys were like, when you first played this show and you had written this song, was the idea to record together, like, or were you just having fun around town playing? Like, what was that?
We started recording before we ever even played any gigs, right?
Yeah, right?
I think so.
We recorded this over, I feel like, a long period of time. So I think it started as fun, and I think the recording was also part of the fun. I think that was...
I think, we intended to make some sort of recording.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
and then we sat on Talk to My Shadow like for I think months because we were trying to think of a name. Like the song was finished and we didn't have a name yet, so we just sat on it until we finally came up with something.
But Talk to My Shadow was always in the...
That was our first song.
Okay. Cool.
So
I think, no, that's interesting that you guys recorded first. Like, was that a common thing in where you guys were in Carmel at your high school, or did you feel like, I don't know, kind of different in pursuing this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think no, that probably wasn't very common, but I think probably since a lot of what we had done was play with School of Rock and whatnot. I mean, Alex was in another original band and they did a lot of cool stuff too, but I know I was kind of tired of playing covers to some extent. Like I just wanted to do some original stuff. So for me, it just made a lot of sense to just get right to like making new music. And I had never recorded anything before. So that's actually like what got me into audio. And yeah, the first song I ever mixed the first anything that I ever mixed was this EP. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Alex and I recorded, I think, a couple songs with Paul Stretch. I was in 8th grade when that happened. I don't know, but I was happy I got that early experience. And Treefoil was, those friends went off to college, and so I think we wanted to continue recording and making music. So it was good to find this group. But.
Cool. Well, I think we should move on. Listen to Talk to My Shadow, the first song, but second on the EP.
Mm-hmm.
Any last thoughts before we give this one a go?
Drive safe if you're on the road.
Yeah.
I agree. It's windy.
Very important.
Ooh. And with that, Talk to My Shadow, Treefoil. Enjoy.
She don't have all that up with me wherever I go. I talk to my shadow.
And we're back. That was Talk to My Shadow, Treefoil. What's this song about?
Good question.
This is about feeling ignored in a relationship, I guess. I don't know. I wrote it like a long time ago.
But it sounds happy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much that. It's just like, I guess the whole Talk to My Shadow thing is just like, oh, I'm so lonely and I can only talk to my shadow. You know?
Mm-hmm.
One of those songwriting techniques, I guess, that I was using back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But I think someone told me that they thought it meant like talk to the hand, but like that's not what I meant. So. But I guess it could mean that.
So it's you talking to the shadow. You're not telling somebody else to talk to your shadow.
That's right.
Okay. Glad we could get that clarified.
Yeah. Very important.
No, I liked the idea. It reminded me of like, I can't remember if I'm getting the story right, but Peter Pan, when he has like his shadow following him. I thought that was
Cute. I've never thought of that.
Interesting.
So, little literary.
I like
pull from. I would love, though, to talk about your guys' sound, because I feel like it's pretty cemented, at least in this EP, just with your style. So where is that born from? If you could describe it, how would you describe your sounds? And perhaps musical inspirations, influences?
I'd say the record sounds pretty, like, it's on the happier side, I think, and it's kind of juvenile, you know, like it sounds like we were young because we were. And I guess that's fine. I don't know, Max, you really were the guy in charge of all of the sound.
Yeah, I would say, like, I guess the whole recording process was kind of like, I think the sound was in some ways a result of the way that we recorded it, which was based on limitations. So working with very minimal equipment, like we couldn't do a whole lot, so we had to record everything like individually and overdub. And for some reason, we decided to track drums first. And so I remember trying to sing the song in my head to play drums along to, but it was just solo drums, and I really struggled with that. So that was kind of a learning lesson. But yeah, from there, like we for some reason we decided to use amp sims instead of using actual amps, which I don't actually know why we chose to do that.
I think I was just lazy and had a bad amp. Actually, it was not a bad amp, but it wasn't a tube amp, and My little 16-year-old brain thought I needed a tube amp to record.
Yeah. So I think the guitar sound is something that's pretty consistent across the record. And I also noticed that in our recordings, we didn't have probably the best microphones, so there was a lot of harshness in a lot of the sounds. So I tried to kind of get around that by rolling off some of the high end in some places and like decreasing some of the nasty stuff. And I think it made it like I added some like tape saturation, made it sound like a little bit more retro in that way. But I tried to keep it somewhat subtle, but I think it definitely shows through, and it's pretty uniform across the record.
Yeah. Max definitely did some sound with my bass. I have a Rickenbacker. These two comment all the time on how
It's
a
amazing.
staple.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I love my bass. It's my baby. But I think that definitely adds to the sound. I think, Max, if you describe what you do to my bass EP.
Yeah. So we did this really weird thing. I was having trouble really getting clarity between the drums and the bass, which I think is like the most important part, almost one of the most important parts of getting a good sounding song. And so one thing I tried was to take like a duplicate of the bass and then pitch it up like an octave, and then filter it a bunch and then add some harmonics to it, and it ended up giving this like weird but kind of cool sound that I think is very distinct, and I haven't really heard that much elsewhere. I don't know if it's something that we would continue to do in the future, but it
was interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting thing that I don't know if I would try something like that today, but for 16-year-old Max, that was kind of experimental.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember we would all record individually too, like at our houses, and just send Max a file. And then he'd kind of play with it for a couple days and send it back and be like, does this sound good? So I genuinely can't remember like one time where we all got together and recorded. I think it was all...
I think we did that once, and the problem was that we were just recording drums, and you guys ended up just like sitting there while I did take after take and was so unhappy with everything I was recording. So we were like, okay, why don't we just not waste everybody's time?
That's how we all are. Like, we were all sitting there wanting to redo every single take. So I think by letting ourselves like work on it at home, and we all had the interfaces for it, and it was fun. I think allowing ourselves the time to make it the way we wanted to make it was important.
Yeah, the bass sound, like, I know you said we comment on it a lot, and that's true, and I'm about to do it again. Like, I do think that's kind of, I mean, when I think of how the record sounds, I think of the bass sound, like, the most.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Like, anything that your bass has been recorded on, I'm always like, yeah, that's Kayla bass, Like,
thank you.
So I owe a lot to you
glad
and
it
your bass.
I'm glad it adds some spice.
Because it's got like I don't know, it's not a Fendery sound. It's kind of like a scooped sound.
It's very thunky.
Yeah, it's very rich in harmonics, and I think it adds a lot to the fact that we only have 3 people playing,
And I think that will continue to be a staple. I think I'm not going to stop playing my Rick, so...
Please never stop playing your Rick. I love it so much.
Yeah.
It sounds really good.
You mentioned, 3 people and how that can have limitations. Like, have there been any with recording or playing in live settings, or do you enjoy having it just be the 3 of you?
I think it's definitely like an interesting challenge, because especially when playing covers, because there's such a limited selection of songs that are just recorded with guitar, bass, vocals, and drums. So a lot of the times it's like having that conversation of, how do we make this song feel good with just 3 instruments? And I think it's fun to do, but it's also really challenging to do.
Yeah. Well, like on the record, there's a lot of, like, I remember I played 12-string and, like, I would have at least 2 different guitars on a song, maybe plus the 12-string, and plus maybe a slide guitar track. So like we beefed up the sound on the record.
And that's a whole nother conversation of like, making the recorded song something that you can also play live. So like considering how it's going to translate when you don't have all those added parts. But like you still want to add those parts in because it makes the recording sound better. But, it's something to think about.
I added too many parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of like automated things in and out and brought things up when they needed to be. And I think it sounds good, but it is maybe like a tad busy.
Max recently started singing harmonies, and I sing harmonies as well. So that's a way that we try to bulk our live shows, I think. Yeah, that's something that Max has been joining in on recently. That's been fun. So, but there's some harmonies on the EP throughout there, I think, on a couple songs, and I think those are some of the ways we try to beef up our sound.
Well, also we like have, whenever we're making a set list, like it's really hard to figure out what songs to cover because we don't have that many original songs. We have a couple that aren't recorded, but
and a couple that are recorded but haven't been released.
Or I guess I should say that.
Ooh, okay.
So we always have to find some sort of cover song that we like and that will work for our band, which is really hard.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
So new music on the horizon is what I'm maybe hearing.
Potentially.
yeah, it's like new old stock music because it's a bunch of old songs that just need to come out,
Yeah.
But they're still, those songs are both ones that I really love. And even though they were written a while ago, we didn't record them all that long ago. So
Okay.
Like within the last year.
And I kind of think that, letting them sit and marinate for a while before recording probably like helped the sound a little bit, because I know oftentimes, the first idea that you have for how to play a song is not the best way. So if you just go straight to recording as soon as you kind of figure out a song, I don't think that's always necessarily doing the song justice.
Unless you're Paul McCartney.
Yeah, unless you're Paul McCartney, then anything you do is amazing, and the demo that you make with just an acoustic guitar and singing is like coveted by millions of people. So
you can aspire to that.
Yeah,
right.
One day maybe.
But yeah, no, exciting though. To those of you just tuning in, we're halfway through our program. This is Growing Pains. Treefoil's on. We're going to head on to the second half of the EP and listen to Homesick Hawaiian once again. Any comments about this one before we give it a go?
I don't think so.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Everyone, this is Homesick Hawaiian by Treefoil. Enjoy.
My shoes are tight and that's no fun. One more thing that I've undone. My mind keeps slipping away from me. I think it's right, but it's scary. Oh, no, it's right.
All right. That was Homesick Hawaiian, Treefoil. You were saying about the songwriting over the break. What are your comments on the song listening to it now?
Yeah, we were talking about like this kind of goes back to the theme of not really knowing what to write about, and I've learned to maybe organize my ideas a bit better. But yeah, this song is kind of, to me, indiscernible, like about what it even is talking about, and I guess that's fine. But I think that was what my issue with this song was. Like it has something to do with a business trip, maybe. But I think I just like probably wanted to use the alliteration of that title, and so I probably just forced myself to write a song called Homesick Hawaiian, and I wish I wouldn't have done that. But I think the music for it is pretty fun. So that sounded pretty negative. What do you guys have to say?
I love this song. This was one of the easiest songs I've ever mixed, which is weird because everything just kind of came together like when after we recorded it, and it was something that I tried to do some probably more experimenting with than I had with our other songs, because I was kind of trying to channel the weirdness of what they were doing in the early 60s when stereo was like a new thing. And like if you listen to those early Beatles records, it's like the drums are like all on one side and the bass is on the other side, and then or the drums and bass will be on the same side and then the vocals are like on the other side, and it just makes no sense. But stereo was like a new frontier for them at that point. So I kind of wanted to do like a little callback to that. So I had the drums panned to the side and then the bass panned to the other side. And I don't think that's something that should be overused. And it is a little bit gimmicky to do that, but I thought it was kind of fun, and I think it fits the song. So, yeah.
Talk more about your like inspirations, like the Beatles. Were there any other artists that you drew from when making this?
Yeah, wow. I think we're all like big Beatles and Beach Boys fans.
Absolutely. Alex and I had like a infatuation with tiki music, I think, around freshman year.
Kenny Sasaki and the tiki.
Yes.
Yeah, that was, I think, our favorite album at the time, and I think that heavily influenced your writing.
Yeah, which is a really weird album to be like, I want to make a band because of this,
Definitely.
Like
kind of elevator music-y, kind of, but definitely.
Yeah, we're an elevator music.
That's my so proud to be that genre.
I think.
Also, Somersault is pretty cool. I know I used to listen to them a lot.
Yeah, forgive me, but I saw Somersault live.
We did.
And they were kind of jerks.
I was sick. I was sick when you guys went to see them, so I didn't get to go with you.
They weren't jerks.
Jerk is. I'm so sorry. That was so mean, but
no,
you can voice an opinion.
They weren't inviting like their sound suggests. Like when they played, it seemed like they were really full of themselves, and I was kind of let down. Like I liked the opening band better.
That's such a bummer.
Okie dokie. I still remember them because they were so good.
Yeah. Somersault was supposed to come here last year.
And
were
they?
They bailed. So.
I hope they don't hear this.
Somersault, if you're listening, come.
We still love your music and your
good music. Yeah,
seriously, definitely a big influence on our EP.
Time Away from Home, great, absolutely amazing. But
I would say I thought we wanted, or I wanted to be in a surf rock band. Yeah. I don't think it came across and. So then I think it became this whatever we are, I liked a couple of Somersault's songs, but I didn't want to be exactly like them, and I don't think my songs sounded like them. I really liked the Beach Boys. I don't think my songs sounded like them. I love the Beatles, but I do think it was kind of like I don't really think we really knew what an immediate influence, at least for me. I didn't have an immediate influence on this.
Yeah.
I think I had an idea that I wanted it to be this sort of surf rock band, but then I didn't know where to pull from. So I don't know.
Yeah. When you were, so it sounds like you were writing a lot of these songs and then bringing it to these guys. When you were, putting your parts into it, what was that? Was it just like, I have an idea and I'm going to run with it? Was there discussion between how you would play drums, how you play bass? What was that like?
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting balance. So Alex would make very developed demos on his own. So
very
like
specific.
he would send me like an audio file, and it would be like obviously the guitar and the vocals, but also like there'd be drums and bass on there.
Very
Everything.
bad demos, like with GarageBand sounds, and I played them with my.
They're really funny, but so those demos, as funny as they were like a really good starting point. And sometimes I would follow the parts pretty closely, and then sometimes I'd change it up quite a bit. But then a lot of it would come down to like when we would then come and do like a practice session, then just like play the song and nope, that doesn't really work. Let's try something else. So,
Yeah. I think Alex definitely had some very, I don't know, you were very specific about the parts and how they wanted to sound, which I get, but we definitely were able to put our own spin on things. And I think playing together, like all together, definitely allowed us to explore what we wanted to do with our own instrument. So I think those practices where we kind of just sat there and I did think we changed up a couple like songs and how, I don't know. I think
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely changes. Like, I remember when we played, what is it called?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of specific changes we made, but.
Yeah, I mean, well, I just remember like arrangement changes. Like I would make a demo for a song and then we'd play it and then you hear how it really sounds. And then like, I feel like I probably put too much into it. So then there was a lot of like, hey, let's just simplify this. And I'm grateful that you guys said that, because there was a lot that needed to be simplified. I think it was that, like, you guys helped them become like more logical,
Yeah, and I remember, I think, I can't remember for sure if this happened, but I feel like did I suggest that we do like a build going into the last chorus of Talk to My Shadow? I feel like that happened.
Probably.
I mean, we still change up songs.
Yeah, I mean, still like we'll go play songs for practice, and then we'll be like, what if we just like change this part of this song that we already released, and it's like, who cares, So,
it's your own stuff. You can do what you want with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Can I ask where the name Treefoil came from? If you don't remember.
It's a great question.
I think it was around Christmas time.
I was in math class and I was like scouring my brain and the internet and every resource within
We thought
arm's
for
reach.
a while
Yeah.
on a name, and we could not think of a name for.
Yeah.
I mean, months.
I think I already mentioned this, but like after we finished Talk to My Shadow, it was probably like 2 months of sitting on it before we came up with the name to release it.
We had a song and no name and no idea of what we wanted to really do.
I have a history of creating names that really don't make sense, and so I did that with this band, and I
don't even know where it started.
Well, I think I literally just had a box of the Girl Scout cookies
Treefoil?
the Treefoils in my like house, and I was like, I like trees. What if we added an E or something? I don't remember. It was probably that, and then
I think we were so ready to pick a name as well that
I would change it. But it's too late.
Yeah, we as soon as there was a name that that lasted for more than like a couple days in our heads, we were like, we just got to go with it. Which, I
had
actually
a show coming up. Like, I think we needed a
name. Yeah, I think
Well,
that is what happened.
That wasn't our first name. We had a different name, and then we realized that was a really bad name. So then we got a slightly less bad name, and then we stuck it on our stuff.
But honestly, I don't think it's bad. I like it.
Good.
Even I know you said you would change it, but honestly, I don't know what I would change it to.
Well, I don't either. But.
That's the thing. It would take us months again to figure it out.
I like it. I think it works.
I like the name. I think it's stuck with us for such a long time.
And
it's almost nostalgic.
And there is meaning to it because a trefoil, I mean, even though it's spelled with an extra E, it's a symbol that has 3 parts to it.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah,
kind of
there
cute.
is.
It ended
Yeah.
up being, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a 3-piece trefoil, you know?
Aw. Cute.
That's so sweet. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that most of y'all are happy with the name as it stands.
Yeah.
No, awesome. We're gonna wrap up with the EP. I have some more questions on, you know, where you guys currently stand and the stuff that you're doing around town these days. But we're gonna finish the EP, Homesick Hawaiian, with something you can get behind. Thoughts?
I love
a
this
fun
song. Yeah.
It's the longest song.
Yeah, there's a cool section at the end that
Definitely.
I love. So.
I like playing this live.
I'm not spoiling it. I'm just saying it's cool.
Okay.
All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, we played a little different live, but this is definitely, I think, one of my favorite songs on the EP.
Perfect. A great way to end then. All right, everyone. This is something you can get behind. Treefoil. Enjoy.
What they're after. Well, you might find me on your line, 'cause I'm coming after you. Everyone's talking about their future. Well, they keep saying they don't know what they want, but I do. It's you they're after all this time. Sometime soon you'll find your kind, but darling, I think I do just fine with something you could get behind. Just about to make my move, but here comes an extravagant tune. Don't you think we'd be so sweet? Gotta divvy out some revenue. You after all this time. Sometime soon you'll find
that was something you can get behind. Treefoil. I love that final little breakdown. I don't know what you call it, but that's such a cool way to end out everything. So you guys, as we were discussing over the break, Kayla is a year younger. Yes. So there was a period of time when Alex and Max were in Bloomington, and then you were at a different school.
Yes, last year I went to Hollins University in Virginia. Decided it wasn't a good fit. Knew I was going to come back, but a friend of ours, Maya, a friend of Max's, Maya, thankfully stepped in for, I think, a show or two. But I was very grateful for that. So they got to kind of continue. But now that hopefully I'll be coming to IU Bloomington next semester, the next fall, we can start doing way more shows than that. But yeah.
What's it like to be all together now, finally?
It's cool. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's been we don't get to do it very often, so it's kind of nice whenever Kayla can make the drive and we can play or do an interview with Natalie.
Yeah. So you drove for this?
Yeah, I'm still up. I'm still up in Indy for a bit, but it's not, compared, I was driving 10 plus hours to get here before, right. So 1.5 or I think it was an hour and 15 minutes is nothing. So yeah, thanks for having us though.
Yeah, thanks for making the trek.
No problem.
Just had to walk up the stairs. So you guys have been playing, you mentioned a Reef show maybe last year at the Block House. Is that
we've done a couple shows at the Block House, which I love playing there.
Yeah, it's fun.
I wish more people went there, but it's a really fun place to play at.
Mm-hmm.
I do, yeah. That I would suggest heavily something along those lines, for people to go to that.
Yes.
Yeah, you should find yourself there whenever Treefoil is playing.
That might be a cool thing to do.
Maybe.
This one's for you, FCC. What are your guys' hopes for the future, goals, things we can expect from you?
Well, Max and I were talking about this last night because we live together.
Indeed, we were, and yes, we do.
I think we're all in agreement that we kind of want to change the sound, maybe drastically, maybe not, but I want to stop trying to be some sound. I just want to write music, and then it will sound like us, because I don't think the surf rock thing came across in the traditional sense of a surf rock band, and I don't want to keep trying to do that. Whenever I try to write songs for this band, I have no idea what to do. Hence maybe why it has been 3 years since any music has come out. I think we want to experiment, to say the least.
I think the old songs that we recently recorded definitely have a different sound. Maybe not as drastic as we're thinking in the future, but it definitely is not the same sound as the EP. So hopefully we release those soon. And I really enjoy those songs that we've recorded.
Yeah, I love those songs. And they're also just recorded better.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Much better at a nice studio. Yeah. So shout out the Georgina Joshi studio here at IU.
Yeah.
Great facility. And we've been lucky to have some great engineers record us for school projects. And so we're working on getting through getting those mixes, and probably doing some overdubs still. And then we haven't really decided how large of a scope we want to shoot for with our next project. But so
we have a lot to
stay
talk
tuned.
About. A lot to still figure out.
We have, and I don't know if he's listening, but one of our friends wrote us a song to be played by us a long time ago, and it is gonna come out, Justin. I promise.
It is. Yeah. It's a great song.
It is.
We played it live a couple times, and I think people like it. So.
Yeah, we played both the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're just real slow, I think, at doing things that a band would normally do, but that's okay.
I think we're wanting to increase the amount of time we spend on it and the amount of shows.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, we've been around for a while, and it still feels like people don't know that, you know, we make music. So I think the secret is to actually just go and play, you know.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Trial by fire.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys come out with next. But thank you for coming on today and talking about the EP. It means a lot. Thank you, Kilway, especially.
Oh, no, thank you
making
for
the
having
drive.
me.
Everyone listening, you guys should follow Treefoil on Instagram at treefoil.music, correct?
Yep.
So.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
And they can find information about shows that you guys might be playing,
Yes.
Yeah.
new music, hopefully in the future.
Yeah.
But for now, this has been Growing Pains. Thank you for tuning in this Friday. I'm here every Friday. And I'll see you next week.
Thanks for
Thanks.
having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Moncton.
you.
Bye.